What's going on, guys? Welcome back to RC Everyday. Back again on the red shop truck. So, trying to slow down and really take my time with this engine bay. We're going to make a core support today. I found some print files online. They just didn't have much detail. So we're just going to go back to styrene. I've got the old sketchbook out. We're going to try to mock it up on paper and draw it out on some styrene and cut it out. So I've got some pictures pulled up. I'll show them here of a 78. It's kind of the year model, I think, basing this off of. Core support and what the engine bay looks like. Trying to figure out battery tray. I do have a couple little things. I'm thinking maybe like an overflow tank for the radiator. Obviously, this isn't a factory radiator. We got that aluminum RC four-wheel drive one in there. And I found, just digging through some bins last night, I have this little metal overflow tank. I'm not sure how to mount that or anything. And I also have these 3D printed batteries. I found this print file online. Really nice looking battery. Printed that in ABS glass fiber. So it's about the right size. So we'll make a little battery tray. I want to add a few details to it, like on the picture there, you saw it has some like structure that goes down beside the radiator in front that you can see through the grill. I've got enough styrene. I think we're going to start with 0.40. I think that's what it was. 040, whatever. And use that because it's pretty solid. I'm certain this is going to have to stick to the truck. So it needs to fit around the radiator when it goes together. I do have the RC four-wheel drive engine bay accessory kit on order. That has those pieces that go inside the engine bay, and I thought we might be able to reuse those because it'll look just like the real structure, especially not having the engine bay in, so you'll be able to see through all the openings in it, and it'll look more like a real inner fender since we're not going to have actual inner wheel tubs since this thing's set so low. We are going to have to add some springs to the shock at some point because it will go all the way down still and just sit there with everything on. And like I said, we're just going to keep piling weight on. So with that kit also comes the heater box. Then the heater hoses are going to be problematic because obviously the motor's attached to the chassis and the heater box is going to be attached to the body. So before we make a decision to tie the two together permanently, we need to move to electronics and try to figure that out. But for this video, focus on the core support battery mount, getting stuff painted, weathered, and working in the truck and the body. So let me get some measurements off of this, draw some stuff out here, and see what we can do. So first thing, 7.5 inches is what I'm getting across here. I'm going to use the perforated edge of the paper on this side to line that up, and then we'll just draw us a line there. I guess we'll go ahead and just make us a straight line across there. And yeah, now let's see how much space there is. Probably should have took the hood off for this. From there, we're looking at 2 3/4. No, 2 and some 8ths. What are we looking at here? Let me count. Should something a little more accurate here. Cannot see the marks on these at that angle. Try the caliper. Try the broken, trusty caliper. It should be the same side to side, but you never know. So our radiator, I want to go overlap the radiator just a little bit. So it's just the fins exposed. So that is right at 65 millimeters. And it looks a little less on this side. We'll wing it. I'm gonna put a mark here. And here. The good thing about the styrene, ooh, that's way over, is we can always come back and fine-tune the edges. Now, as far as the depth goes on the truck, it's going to be real hard to gauge. I'm kind of thinking to just go to the bottom of the top of the chassis rail. Yeah, I don't know how to measure that. Probably should have took the hood off. Guess we can kind of, if I stick my head in front of the camera here, get you some kind of view of it. I can wedge this between the radiator. Come on now. All right. That radiator is in there solid, man. I just messed up the bumper. All right, let me think about this. So it looks like the radiator is exactly 2 inches. So I think I'm gonna go 2 1/4. I want to get up here on this piece of the body. Figure this out here. 2 1/4. Is that straight? Hope my paper would quit moving on me. We'll come back and draw our radiator in. We've got to work around the cap as well. Those lines line up poorly. Just wing it. All right. So obviously I don't want it to be perfectly square on the sides. I did one a long time ago on the channel with the very first Blazer, the yellow and white one that I had when those first came out. Once we did the V8 swap in that, I made one and I kind of tapered the edges up. It looked real nice. It's not exactly accurate for the factory, but it fits with the RC. And that's something a lot of folks don't understand. I get asked a million times a day for replicas of real stuff, and it's like you have to make some concessions. We can't, obviously, we have like this chassis kit, we have those inner shock towers we have to work around. We have to work with the available RC components that are available. If I built an exact replica and printed every piece of a real truck, it would be impossible to get it to stay together because there'd be so many pieces, and it wouldn't function properly because we don't have the right size shocks and things that a real car would have in there. So like that shock tower whole situation is a big concession to just use RC stuff that's available, so it doesn't cost $1 million for the kit. But anyways, let's figure out an angle on this. I'm thinking just something like so. So we'll measure this edge. Let's just use the caliper. We're back and forth between millimeters and inches over here. It's like a little 10.5. Put that right there. Great little precise mark I made there. All right. So I think, I don't know yet how to connect the top. So I'm going to make this all one piece, and then we'll figure out if we're going to leave some support at the bottom. We're going to come back and add some bracing type deals like that. And I do want to cut out where you have access to the headlights like the real truck has. I'm thinking possibly, I'm not sure if we have enough room there, maybe to overlap this with a little styrene angle. That'll give it a little more something to hold on, because right now there's nothing to mount it to in there except these two holes that dip down right behind the radiator there where the grill screws go in. So that's what I'm thinking. Of course, we'll make those holes round when we get to the point, but let me transfer this over the styrene and make something happen. Got test cab out here, I guess we'll call it that, and I've got this cannibalized grill shell that will mount in. The mounting points are going to be in the same place. The headlights should be in the same place from the CC hand grill. Everything else may be a little different. So I've got it notched for the magnet mount in the middle, and we've notched the edges just a little bit. I'm trying to see where the headlights fall and see if maybe we can mount it to these bottom grill screws. We have to have some spacers in there, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't know why I'm feeling like it shouldn't be that tall though. We may have to shave the bottom down a little bit, but we'll get the top sorted out first. Trying to get it in here where you can see what's going on. Get that up where it goes. So we got a little bit of play in there. Maybe we can flip it around. For some reason it fits better that way. Go figure. So I think I need to try to clamp this in place, and I need to try to mark where the headlights are. So I stick something through here and try to center it up. It's going to be fine. Use a big clip. See if we can get it to clamp in place. That's gonna be too big. Okay, maybe. All right, we're flush with that. I did find some more angled styrene and stuff like that, so should be all right. And again, we'll come back once we figure out how we're going to mount it. Then we can come back and trim out our radiator. But for now, it's going to be easier having it all as one piece. I'm sure this is not going to do the trick. If I could mark, oh, it might actually reach. Mark center on the headlights, and then we have a idea of where we need to drill our holes out. I can't do the marker lights that way. As the other grill had some holes, and I think there was a hole on this side, somewhere around there for like air conditioner or heater or, you know, hoses. Let's see if I can just mark that this way. That's center enough, and somewhere to change the bulbs. All right, let's see how that looks. Yeah. Well, we figure out how we're going to drill holes. You can't just take a wood drill bit to this 40 thousandths thick styrene. It'll just rip it all to shreds. So usually high speed's going to be the best. I'll get a Dremel with like a cone-shaped stone on it, and we can just right through it. We'll just have to play with the size to see how big we want to make it. Alright guys, had to go running some errands. Got some support materials here. It's going to be on this side, but this side's marked, so I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking. We are going to have to move these down because it's got a big swoop down thing in there for the grill mount. There you go. It's got those two, so we're going to have to clearance those. It's going to be tricky to gauge. I measured it earlier. Been gone for like 4 hours, so I'm going to add some supports though, add some depth to this. Guessing on both sides. I want it to look a little more detailed on the front, and I don't know if we really need it on the inside. I haven't seen a good picture of the inside yet, but I'm just going to cut some stuff like on the sides of our grill. We're going to make some panels. We'll drill that hole out again, and then we'll add our supports. I'm going to add some of this skinny stuff on the sides just to give it some more rigidity. Fortunately, I usually use a product called Plastruct Bondine. They have Plastruct, it's like a plastic weld glue. It's in a brush applicator tube like this, and I'm out. They have the orange label. The white label is what I use, the Plastruct Bondine. Dries super fast, great for just raw styrene. I've had a lot of good luck with that, and I forgot my tube a couple weeks ago. I found it. It was completely dried up, and it's not something I can get quickly. Everything on Amazon was a week and a half. I doubt my local hobby shop has it. I know Shaka doesn't. I know the local Hobby Town probably doesn't. They have nothing unless it was Traxxas brand. So we're going to try this out. I got Tamiya cement. The old internet said this was the next best thing. So I've got an activator too in case it doesn't dry that quick. That was the thing with the Bondine. It would dry before you could get your piece glued on. Like, it was so quick to dry. So it worked fantastic, and you could like layer it. So you could just put that on there and just start filling in the gap with that glue, and it would chemically bond the plastic together. So I'll miss it, but I've got some really thin stuff here. This is, if I had to guess, probably 020. This is 040. So we're just going to make a couple little random shapes and pieces. I'm going to cut this down and attach it below that little, yeah, we'll do it there. And I'm still pretty certain I'm going to have to trim this off at the bottom, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't know why my measurement went so wrong, but it apparently did. But anyway, let's get to supports. Alright guys, got this thing cut in half now. We'll see how it fits. It's not perfect at all. That's off to this side, that's centered underneath that. It is what it is. It's gonna work. We can glue it over and make it work. I think it's gonna glue on to the top here. It's gonna suck on that body where the paint's peeling off because of the patina, but we'll figure out a way to make it work. Yeah, just simple. We'll clean this up with the styrene. It's been a lot of fun, actually. I haven't done styrene stuff in a long time. I'll take some pretty aggressive sandpaper to this. Just clean up edges. I did have to grind a lot of that down to get it to fit flush against that piece there, the hood magnet core support thing. So that's pretty much going to seal. The grill will never come off again once we glue this on. And yeah, I think it's going to work. We'll have to test fit it in that truck with the radiator already in it. I'm not looking forward to that. This stuff's actually working really good. It's drying pretty quick. I'm not disappointed, and it's good because I have like 5 bottles of this, so that's good. We can keep doing this kind of stuff with it. So it looks like our light holes line up perfectly. The bottom ones are off a little bit, but again, you're not going to see that. It's just from the inside, you'll see that there's a provision for it. I need to look at some photos. So this side, I got some glue on there. This side is where our battery tray is going to mount. So we'll have a battery blocking a lot of that one way or another. And I don't really need much more. We've got our extra hole there for air conditioning, which this truck is not going to have. The other side, however, looks pretty bland. So we need to either add some more support in here. I looked at some more pictures online. There's not really a whole lot of holes. There's a couple small holes like along here, and then you got all your holes for like your headlight bezels and things to screw to. I'm not going to go that far. You can if you want to. I'm just not that interested in it. Just want to make it have a little something else going on over here. So we may glue another thin piece in. Just make something over there so it looks like something. But I think first step, we're going to sand this down a little bit. And also, for a second there, I thought I glued those on backwards. It's been a long, long day. I started this day early chopping up a tree that I had cut down. That was a big tree. And yeah, I'm tired. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. So we'll pick back up tomorrow. We'll sand this stuff. All right, guys, next day, I went ahead and added just something on the inside, on this side of the radiator, the driver's side. I don't know if it'll really make much of a difference, but getting ready to do a battery box. I did want to touch on something I mentioned previously. It's been bugging me all night. I said to sand all this stuff down with, the grit didn't matter. It does matter. You don't want to scuff this up with 60 grit. I do want to go back and clean up the edges with a pretty aggressive grit, but I don't want to do the flat surfaces because that'll make it look terrible in the paint. We want this to look pretty smooth, even though we're not really going to be able to see it. But anyways, we'll do that once we get closer to the end. Next up, we're going to do a battery tray. So I've kind of marked where the bottom of the battery needs to go. I'm thinking I'm just going to use this angle and build us a little box to hold it. And then we'll make some side pieces that go up and attach to the firewall, maybe. Trying to figure out the placement. I know on most of the trucks, the battery faces this way, and then you have your cables. I'm kind of thinking about putting it this way so the cables can just tuck down and disappear. It's less trouble. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm trying to decide if I need to do all 4 sides around the battery, or we can just do like the long sides and then we can attach to the ends. I don't know. Just start cutting stuff and see what happens. That stuff's pretty thin. I ought to be able to just snip that, not make a dusty mess everywhere. So that's, I think, the last thing we need to do to this other than clean it up and get it ready for paint. We still haven't test fitted in the actual truck yet. So I'm not sure if we've cut off enough at the bottom. I don't know what I did with the piece I cut off. Just kind of eyeballed it off of this one. Trying to keep it close to where the bumper mount is because I'm pretty sure the bumper mount sits right with the servo and where the radiator is. So that's what the thought process was on that. Where's my tape measure? We originally measured that as 2 inches. So that's right at 2 inches. I don't know where I got mine being longer, but anyway, let's get this battery box knocked out. All right, guys. I know a lot of people are saying the battery goes all the way in the corner. Well, it doesn't fit. I checked it on the truck. Remember, we don't have inner fenders. This thing is slammed, and turning, the tire was going to hit the battery. So I had to shift it over and move it up a little bit. So it's going to be tight to get a overflow tank in there. I don't know about using that aluminum one. I don't even know where I put it. Now there it is. One, I don't know how to attach it. It's got weird little metal handle on it almost. So I'm not 100% sure the best route to go about that. So I don't know. We'll just focus on the battery right now. The battery fits in there nice and snug. I don't think we'll actually have to glue it. And yeah, we're almost ready for paint. I still haven't test fit this in that body. I'm gonna have to do that next. We're gonna have to pull the body off, try to clamp these in, put the body back on with the radiator. I did try to shove one of these pieces in there while the body's on the truck, and it did not work. See, I've got this side handy. Thought maybe I could kind of walk it in there, but I can't quite sneak it. Well, maybe we can squeeze this side in. Oh, would you look at that? I gotta get it behind the radiator, which is pretty tight. All right, well. Oh, that's perfect on that side. You're not gonna be able to see any of it. I'm gonna have a hard time making a thumbnail for this video. I dig it. I think that's the best point of attachment. I was just gonna glue it. When I was test fitting, one side fits a little snugger and it was kind of angled out, and one side fit loose and it was angled in. But since it does tuck behind the radiator is gonna push them into place. But it's gonna be another obstacle we deal with taking the body on and off. See if I can lift that up where you can kind of see it in there while it's still white. Everything looks pretty good. I could have got those two supports a little straighter, but you know what? I'm just having fun with this. See if I can shoehorn this side in. I don't know why it feels tighter over here. I need that radiator cap in the way. Yeah, this was the side I tried first, so that's why I didn't think it was gonna go in. Okay, well maybe. Where's my little? Get this little pry. Having two layers of styrene behind the radiator was probably not the best plan. Originally there was enough room for one, and I thought that was going to be enough, but oh, come on, get up there. This side should actually have more wiggle room, but I wonder if we could take that radiator cap off. I can't remember if that screws on or what. Well, I'm gonna mess with this, see if we can test fit. I can get it right behind there, but I can't get this side in far enough because it's not going behind the radiator. Give this one more little try here. All right, I got it in. I had to put y'all on the handheld here for a minute. The battery it's not as close as it looks there. There's the tire. We're still clearing, and we're hitting the inner fender, or the outer fender. So again, we are still going to add the RC4 drive inner fender supports. We may have to trim those up. I don't know. I still got to lift the front suspension, but let me see if I can get you a look on the inside. There's that side. Fits perfectly around the radiator. We've got a little bit of space there. I didn't want to cover my headlight hole either, so it'd be nice. You can still see that, even though it's not exactly like the stock one. This side, not much going on, but that worked out great. Just a happy accident the way that worked out, cutting it in half and just hanging it on that lip. I dig it. All right, guys. Well, my plans got foiled a little bit. I spent the last hour going through everything in the shop, including all the little boxes in the scale garage here. Battery terminals. I had a set of Falvey Design Works, super scale. I thought I had them still. I did find the MSD box. I'm thinking we're gonna maybe mount that on the firewall or something and hook that up as a, yeah, our electrical system. This is just a regular little tree fitty. But I couldn't find the terminals, and I went through everything I had, and then I found them on the boat. I used them on that vintage boat quite a while back, so there we go. This is tight fit, but all that's left is to paint it, so I've got to pull this apart. I've got paint heating up right now. We're just going to go flat black. On the fence of whether or not I want to glue them in yet. We've still got a lot of stuff to do in here, and I'm worried it's going to come off and we're just gonna have a big mess, so we may not glue them just yet. I'm not gonna paint the battery yet either. I did find the RC4 Drive engine bay set has battery stickers, some brand with looks legit. It also has some like warnings and stuff. I don't know if I use those, but we'll be able to put a battery sticker on it. But I need those terminals, and yeah, want it to look as good as possible. He makes some awesome detailed stuff. This is a little MSD ignition coil thing that I already painted red, and yeah, super nice, all resin printed, and yeah, definitely want those terminals. We've got just enough space in here. It's clearing the tire at full droop, turning. Everything's working out good. We're still waiting on the plug wires that got delivered yesterday. I haven't been able to get to town to pick it up, and our inner fender structures. And anyway, I gotta get this stuff painted, and I'm gonna wrap the video up here. All right, guys, I got it in. Everything looks good. It's hard to see, but I'm trying to move this little light around so maybe you can see what's going on. It looks appropriate. I do still have more things to do to the core support. I'll show you here in a minute. I can see it really good from this angle, but I don't think the camera's really showing. Well, it's still really hard to see. I tried to take the hood off at the beginning of this video, and I forgot with this new RC4 Drive hood hinge, you cannot get to the back screws. So you have to take the screws out from the inner structure, and I'm so tired of this hood. These hood hinges have been nothing but a pain. Didn't fit with the new dash. Can't take the hood on and off easily. It's in the way of the stock engine bay, but anyways, you got it in there. You can see the battery sets over about a finger's width between there and the side, just for clearance. Trying to add some light in here, but it's not working. It looks good though, from what I can see. You have to see it in person at events. The angled up edges look fantastic. It just gives it a nice little taper. You can see it from the inner fender being the lowered truck, removed inner fender liner type deal. It's going to be cool. You can see up in there that there's actually some structure. You can see the holes where the headlights access for the blinkers and all that. These are not glued in. They actually just stay in pretty nice and tight. So one thing I do want to add, I need an overflow canister, and I've talked about that little brushed aluminum one. I've got to find some tiny drill bits to cut the cap off of this. This is not going to focus. Little Jack Jim something cherry. I remember these. Didn't like it. Tasted sticky. But it's need a little bottle, so we have to make a little like sheet metal mount to the bottom of the core support down below the battery. Run a little hose. I'm not sure how to attach that to the radiator yet. There's some screws on the side. We may be able to just kind of glue it in the end of that screw and have our hose go down and drain to the little Jack or Jim Beam bottle. I still can't. That's Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels Tennessee Cherry Fire. I don't know. Anyway, I had a whole bunch. I bought a whole lot of scale liquor bottles for some reason a while back, and I sold almost all the little ones, and I kept just a few of the little ones. I've got some of the bigger bottles, the handles, I guess, because, you know, I like to party. But anyways, this thing looks good. Appreciate you guys following along. I know it's been a long, drawn-out video, but I've been getting better response, and I feel like I'm doing more justice teaching or sharing the techniques and stuff I know in these longer videos, and just kind of, it's really helping me get back into this, because I've been burnt out real bad for the last few months, couple months anyway. And yeah, just one piece at a time. So, you know, next video, hopefully we'll have the parts for the inner fenders. We'll have I've got the brake booster already, but I need the heater box, and we'll get all that stuff. We'll figure out how to mount it to the firewall of the truck, not the firewall of the engine bay. And at some point, I will have the plug wires next time. So we're gonna have to do that. We still haven't done windshield wipers, by the way. I'm really scared to do the windshield wipers because of these hood hinges, because it does not allow a lot of space back there, and we're past the point of where we can really grind out the inside of the hood. Like, they'll fit perfect now, but as this opens, it may be all right. We'll just have to play it by ear. Just keep admiring the patina, the way that rust looks up close like that. You can see it real good. I'm really proud of this paint job. Still not perfect, but man, it's a huge step for me and learning and doing new things. So yeah. Styrene is not hard. I know a lot of guys get like intimidated by it. I was at first too. I was freaked out First time I ever did it, and then the very first thing I ever built was a full interior. So I was a little involved, but something like this, simple project, just look at some pictures online, make it close enough. It ain't gonna be exact. You can't make it exact. Again, what I mentioned earlier in the video about how we have to make compromises to a lot for the scale stuff that we have. The smallest shocks, like again, my shock towers, they're still pretty big in the, you know, 10th scale size. So we just got to make the best of what we got. That looks close enough. People look in there, they're not going to know unless they have a square body that they're rebuilding and they're like, that's not exactly accurate. Who cares? How many people with these bodies have a handmade core support in there? I would dare say probably less than 5% of everyone with an RC four-wheel drive body. So, you know, we're coming out ahead, and it was a good exercise to get back into that. It's good to know that Tamiya glue works just as well, and it still dried very quickly. And yeah, I'm digging it. I wonder if anybody makes a horn. I have to see where the horns are placed on the square bodies. Put one of the scale horn behind it. That'd be pretty cool. But again, I don't know how far I'm gonna take this truck. I'm taking it further than I originally intended, and that's again why we're doing little by little. But we're just gonna have fun with it. Like I said, next time I also have that MSD box and the MSD coil, our inner fenders, our heater core. I do with the brake booster, I'm gonna make the wires or the hoses that come out the coils that go down outside of the reservoir. Trying to get super detailed, do things that I've never done before, try something new. So that's what it's all about. You gotta keep pushing your skill level and your boundaries and what you're comfortable with. And man, it sure is fun, just like this paint job, trying something new and it works out. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys watching. Get out there and do something with the hobby. Have fun, keep it scale, and I'll see you next time.